I used to be afraid of ruffling feathers. Then I asked myself one day, what is the purpose of having a podcast if I don't address important things? In this episode, I am going to address 8 things that are bothering me. Welcome to the Abundance Hack Show, Season 4, where we are focusing on mastery. The last 3 seasons, I gave you the information. Now, we're focusing on integrating it into our lives and embodying it. If you are ready to master your thoughts, emotions, and patterns to feel whole, fulfilled, and really grounded in who you are without dimming your shine so you can live the abundant life that you truly desire, then you are in the right place. Hey M&Ms, thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. What are you manifesting in your life today? If you are joining me for the first time, although M&Ms are really yummy candies, it actually stands for magical manifestors because we are manifesting by default and we're manifesting according to our energy, our thought, our subconscious thoughts. So if you're listening to this podcast, I know that you want to manifest abundance, an abundance of love and passion and joy and excitement and all the yummy things that life has to offer. And what I want to do in this episode is talk about 8 things that are really bugging me that I feel like are getting in the way of the abundant lives that we truly desire. Now, I will say I don't like complaining. So yes, I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant today, but I think the difference in complaining and addressing things that are bothering you and starting the dialogue on topics that are important, there's definitely a difference. So one of the things that I learned from Brene Brown, you guys know I love me some Brene Brown. She said in her Dare to Lead certification, leaders are never quiet about important topics. And I think that what's important to us will vary from person to person. And it's based on our values. In a previous episode, I recommended everyone get clear on their top 3 values because that is how we live intentionally, knowing if we're living in alignment with our values. And one of my top values is connection. So knowing that connection is one of my top values, what are things that contribute to connection, like communication, for example? So making sure that I am practicing healthy communication is an important thing to me because one of my top values is connection. So what I do when I have something that bothers me, this is what I do to make sure it's not me complaining. Complaining is just voicing your opinion and voicing your emotions with no solution and with no awareness around why it's bothering you and what you can do to shift or learn or grow from that thing that is bothering you. So anytime something's bothering me, what I do is I check in. Why does this bother me? Where can I have compassion? So that's the awareness piece. So if I judge someone, for example, I was told today, by the way, that I'm the most judgmental person ever. But we'll get to that a little bit later. But where can I have more compassion? So that's where awareness comes in. So understanding, like, if you judge someone or if this is a trigger for you, usually there is data in that. There's data in it because we judge where we're most susceptible to shame, and we judge sometimes where we're judging something that is mirroring something within us. So where can you have compassion? Because there could be something internally that either you are susceptible to shame or it's a reflection of something that you judge yourself about. So really identifying like how it shows up for you in your life and where you could have compassion for the person or the situation. And then also, do you have a solution? Sometimes the things that bug us the most, it's part of our purpose. It's part of our purpose to make a change. Like I'm just going to give you an example. Seeing entrepreneurs hustle and grind and work themselves to burnout and not actually enjoy the fruits of their labor, that is something that bothers me. You know why? Because I've been burnt out before. When I had my dance and aerial studio, I was burnt out. And I wasn't enjoying the fruits of my labor. And even when I tried, I couldn't unwind. And that's why I feel so passionately about helping entrepreneurs with my meditation business and my sound therapy business. It's because I can relate. And so when people are like, oh, hustle, grind, go, 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 and they tell them to push through the discomfort, I know that that is taking a toll on the entrepreneur or business owner mentally, physically, and emotionally, and eventually it's going to catch up to them. And so when things bother us, sometimes it's our own triggers and areas that we still need to heal. And sometimes it is part of our purpose. It's part of our purpose to make a difference and make a change. So anyway, I don't want to make this episode super long, so I'm going to try to breeze through this. And if something really stands out to you, or if something really, really hits home with you, let me know and I can dive deeper into one of these topics. So these are just 8 things. When this morning, I'm just like, okay, let me check in. What's on my mind? What's bothering me? What is getting under my skin? What is disturbing my peace? And these are the 8 things that came up for me. And so, like I said, every time something bothers me, I always check in, like, where can I have compassion? Why is this bothering me? What is the solution? So I want to hear everyone's feedback as far as a solution. What can you do? If this is something that bothers you as well, what can you do to help transform this situation? Because we have to be the change that we want to see. I never address anything that I am not actually thinking about. How can I make a difference in this area? And even if it's just using my voice to start the dialogue on a podcast, it's planting a seed. And when you plant a seed, it creates a ripple effect. So that is my purpose of going on my rant today. You guys ready? Okay, so number 1, and I started this out by saying I used to not want to ruffle feathers, but this is going to ruffle some feathers. So, and I'm not calling anyone out because these are some things that I do as well. So number 1 is people not practicing what they preach and not practicing what they post. And when I say post, obviously post on social media. So not practicing what you preach. And I've spent a lot of years in the coaching industry. So before I started sound therapy, I was an online business coach. And so being in the coaching world, there's so many coaches that are teaching people things that they haven't mastered themselves. And here's the thing. What people usually teach in coaching is that you just have to be a few steps in front of the people that you're coaching. So I understand being a few steps in front, but there's a lot of people that are teaching things that they haven't even taken the steps. They haven't even done the things, like teaching someone how to make 100K in 90 days when they've never made 100K in 90 days. Or if they did, it took them 5 years to do so, but you're promising someone they're going to do in 90 days. So there's a lot of hypocrisy, if I'm being honest. But here's the thing. What I ask myself is, where can I have compassion? So I haven't mastered sound healing. I'm not someone that says like, oh my God, I am evolved and I'm enlightened and I'm the most, transformed person. No, I am in the thick of it. Okay. Like I'm doing all the inner work and the inner child work, and I have my therapist and we're working through all the things. And so there are certain steps, like, okay, I've taken these steps. And so if you're at step 1 and I'm at step 5, I could help you with step 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so that's understandable with coaching. But there are people who are literally not doing the things that they are telling their clients to do or telling people to do on social media. They're not practicing what they post. They're not practicing what they preach. And so I always check myself. Am I focused on my self-care? Am I taking time to ground myself and be present? Am I using my sound bowls on myself? I have a morning practice. I check in every morning. I play my sound bowls for myself every single day. And if I don't, like, let's just say I'm traveling and But let me just tell you, I carry tuning forks in my in my purse. I am that person. I practice what I preach, and when I find myself not practicing what I preach, I check myself. And then I also have a therapist that will check me if she needs to. Like, like you're doing this. Like, she will point out if I'm not in alignment. And that's what we need. We need people in our lives that bring things to our awareness, because we all have blind spots. I heard this at a landmark event. They said, you know what you know what you don't know, but you don't know what you don't know. So we have blind spots, and we need people in our lives that will point out our blind spots with consent, obviously, asking the person, are they in a space for feedback? Again, this is a Brene Brown tip, making sure the person is in the space for feedback. That's one thing my therapist actually called me out on, unsolicited feedback. So I make sure, that I ask, are you in a place to listen to what I have to say, or listen to my opinion? Do you want my opinion? Are you in a place for feedback? Do you want my feedback, or do you just want me to listen? This is so important. And so in that case, and I'll give you an example. So this is how I try to find compassion. So I think that, here's my theory. I think that we live in a society that tells you to fake it till you make it. There are posts and coaches that actually give this advice, fake it till you make it. And then also affirmations. Affirmations is, say I am statements, which essentially is the whole concept of faking it till you make it. So you're going to say it to yourself enough until you believe it. And when you believe it, law of attraction is going to fill in the gaps to make it a reality. So here's where I have compassion. Like, I do think that there is a large portion of people that are not practicing what they preach or practicing what they post. However, I think that we're in a place where we are trying to be the best version of ourselves. And even if the reality hasn't caught up, at least we've taken the step, right? So you take the step with the I am statement, I am whatever it is, and you are trying to become that person. I think that because we have so much access to people's lives, we're actually able to scrutinize their every movement and their every action, because we live so much of our lives on social media, and people are able to see basically our every move. So it puts us under a magnifying glass. Although I do feel like a lot of people are not practicing what they preach, I think that the solution to this is to have compassion and to have grace, and also have people in your life that will be honest with you. We all have yes people that will say yes and cheerlead to everything that we say, but we do need people in our lives that will call us on our shit. And I think that we need more of that. We need more people that will call us on our shit, because it's so easy to just sit back and agree with everything. But if you have people in your life that genuinely want to see you be the best version of yourself, they're going to be like, hey, I think this is a really great opportunity for you to practice what you preach. And maybe not say it that way. I'm sure there's a nice way to say it, depending upon the situation. And so, I make sure that I do this. And the biggest thing for me is with self-care, like practicing what I preach when it comes to self-care, because I am a little bit of a workaholic, and I have to check in. Am I setting aside time to ground myself? Am I setting aside time to rest and repair and rejuvenate? Because my whole business is built around that. So yeah, practicing what you preach and practicing what you post. I mean, I've literally seen people post something and turn around and do the opposite in real life. And I'm just like, we need more awareness, which is actually one of the 8 things. So let me go on to number 2, but let me know what you think about that. Like, what solution do you have? Like, I really want this to be a dialogue. Like, what solution do you have to that specific thing? How can we practice what we preach more? How can we practice what we post more? Because I think that in the last couple of years, like, authenticity was like a buzzword. Everyone's like, oh, being authentic. And then they actually weren't being authentic. And so it's like, where's the true authenticity? And I think we have to take things a little deeper. We have to peel back some layers, because on the surface, I feel like the I am statements get people believing the thing, but actually integrating it into their life and embodying it is a completely different thing. It's a completely different thing. So my solution is starting the dialogue of like, don't just say the affirmation, integrate the affirmation, embody the affirmation, because you could say it and you could believe it, but it not really be the reality. So what I want to see is that next step. I want to see people integrating the affirmation into their lives and truly embodying it, not just saying it enough to where they believe it. Because I think that that is the root of the problem. Like, we're saying it to where we've convinced ourselves of it, but we're not truly embodying it. And I think that that is what I want to see. I want to see people embodying what they're posting and preaching. Number 2 is men not being in the masculine and not stepping up. Ooh, Lord. Let me just say, I can go on about this topic forever, but I think if you really want to understand how I feel about this topic, there was an episode I did about like the divine union. I'll post it in the show notes about masculine and feminine energy. So I have an energy analysis that I do at Bliss Bar Meditation Studio, where I can actually scan people's chakras and see how they're rotating and if they're rotating more in the masculine or feminine. You would not believe how many women come in and their chakras are all in the masculine. And I actually had a couple that came in and the guys' chakras were all in the feminine and the woman's chakras were all in the masculine. And granted, you know, as a couple, you want it to be yin and yang, and the roles were reversed. However, which in that case, it works. However, I think that women have to be more in their divine feminine. Like there's a lot of women that are actually not happy and fulfilled in relationships because they feel like they're too into masculine, and their divine feminine is craving to be seen. But it's like, it's not safe for the divine feminine to be seen because the men aren't there to support the divine feminine because they're too in their feminine and they're not in their masculine. They're not stepping up. And it's mind-blowing. And I'm just like, I understand there's been like a lot of like feminist movements and like the Me Too, and I think that it scared a lot of men. It scared a lot of men. So it's like, where can we support men in stepping into their divine masculine? And what are some examples of a man stepping into his divine masculine? So I'll just say, like, when I'm dating, like, I always have guys open a door for me, open the car door. Like, that kind of stuff is like typical. Like, okay, yes, chivalry still exists, but really taking action, like being a provider, taking care of the home, really taking care of the woman so she feels fully supported, so she can ease up, so she can be more in her flow rather than feeling like, oh, I have to take care of it. If you want something done, you got to do it yourself. He's not going to do it. He's not making plans. He's not da-da-da-da-da. So I have to do it. And that's a lot of the energy that I've heard from a lot of women. And it's like, what is the solution? What do we do here? You know, even when it comes to dating, like having a man take action and actually like plan a date, put forth some effort and energy. Take control. You know, like you want women to be submissive in the bedroom, but you're not stepping up to be like to take control in life. So it just like it baffles my mind. And I'm not going to get on a soapbox here, but I think that this is something that is going to require work from both the women and the men. So women have to be willing to allow the man to step up, and we have to support the men in stepping up, but the men also have to get off their asses and step up and take action and take control. And I posted today on Facebook, we need a collective healing of the solar plexus, because that's where our personal power sits. That's where our self-worth and confidence and courage and, like I said, that personal power. And I think that is lacking in men. Like, it's like they don't care anymore. They're doing the bare minimum. But then women are allowing it. So it's going to be work from both ends. The women have to communicate their needs and desires. They have to speak their truth. And men have to be willing to step up and step into their personal power and take control. Allow women to be women. Allow them to be feminine and be in that flow and receive. But it requires men to step up. It really, really does. And again, let me know. I'm starting a dialogue, so let me know how you feel about this. If you're a man, I want to hear how you feel. If you're a woman, I want to hear how you feel, so we can create the conversations that are going to make a change. So when you have people that are speaking about these topics, then they can take it to their partner and be like, hey, I heard this podcast. What do you feel about this? Where's an area do you feel like I can support you in being the best version of yourself? Where can we work together on this specific area? Like there's ways that you can bring it up to your partner or whatever the case may be, your spouse, and make a difference. But if we're harboring all of these feelings and emotions inside, you know what happens? It creates resentment. And resentment is something I've been working on a lot in my own personal life. And where can we address the issues in the beginning before it leads to resentment to make a change? Where can we voice our opinions and desires and needs before it turns into resentment? And what I need is for men to step it up, be men, take charge, take control, set plans, make decisions. Like that decision-making power sits in your solar plexus. And so I feel like men need to work on their solar plexus, and then women, if they work on their solar plexus, they know that they're worthy of a man who takes control and takes action and can provide. And I know like the whole providing thing, like, you know, the whole feminist movement, I think, has just gone in a direction where it's like that swinging pendulum. I talked about the calibration period. Maybe we're in a calibration period of the masculine and feminine, because the swinging pendulum went from like women weren't able to do anything, and then it swung so far to the other side of like we can do everything. But I think it swung too far to where like we're women, we shouldn't have to do everything because we're goddesses. We're goddesses, and to every queen should be a king that handles the things that the king handles, and the queen handles the things that the queen handles. And we shouldn't have to do it all. Can we do it all? Of course. But should we have to? No, because we're goddesses. We should be in our divine feminine, allowing, and be in our flow, not being in our masculine the whole entire time. That's taken away from our divine gifts and our divine beauty. Okay. Whew, you guys, I'm worked up. I want to know what you think and how you feel, and what do you feel the solution is? What do you feel the solution is? You can write to me on Instagram at Niajae, Niajae. That's the fastest way to get in contact with me because I'm always on Instagram. Okay, number 3 is half-assed friendships, ambivalent friendships, and the lack of support and nurturing. So this is something I have actually struggled with for years. Let me tell you, years. Like wanting more from friendships, and then when I address it, I've been gaslit. Like, oh my God, you asked for so much, you want so much, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I had to realize like, okay, these are my standards. And what I've done for years is, because I wanted to hold on to people, I wanted to cling to people, I'm just like, oh, okay, no, I don't actually need this. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Oh, I was about to curse. I'm going to try to not curse that much in this episode. So I was going to say F that. Let me just tell you, your feelings are valid. Your needs are valid. Your desires are valid. I literally got chills just saying that. Your needs and desires and feelings are valid. Do not let anyone invalidate your feelings. Not a friend, not a lover, not a spouse. Your feelings and desires and needs are valid. Okay? Okay. So for me, like, I went through a really challenging time the last year. And I really needed my friends to step up and support me and nurture me and hold space for me. And I didn't feel like they did. And I used to think that like, okay, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not communicating my needs. Maybe I'm expecting people to read my mind. Like I literally took on the brunt of it all. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe if I do this work, I can communicate better. Maybe if I do intimacy coaching, I can like communicate my needs better, blah, blah, blah. I did all of the things and I communicated till I was blue in the face. But here is what I learned. People have a certain capacity to hold space. And no matter how good of a communicator you are, if you're expecting something from the person that they can't give, they're not going to give it, even if they care about you. And people can only meet us as deeply as they've met themselves. So this has shown up, in my opinion, as half-assed friendships. And we have to make the decision, because like I said, people can only meet us as deeply as they've met themselves. So we have to make the decision to get to know ourselves on a deeper level, to support ourselves, to honor ourselves, to listen to ourselves, to hold space for ourselves, to be able to expand our capacity to hold space for others in the way that we're truly craving. Because I did a whole episode on how we're emotionally starving. I'll put that in the show notes as well. We are emotionally starving. We're connected on the surface via social media more than ever. We have a peek into everyone's life more than ever, but we're disconnected in real life. And as a result, we are emotionally starving. There's so many superficial and shallow friendships, and it blows my mind. You know, I fell out with a friend recently, and I'm just like, I need nurturing friendships in my life. I don't have any more space or capacity for another superficial or shallow friendship. Like you have friends that, you know, you go get a drink with and you have fun with, but I need nurturing friendships to where I feel supported and cared for and seen and heard. Like you could go grab a drink with anyone. You could go dancing with anyone. But what I need is someone that I feel like sees me and hears me and supports me and nurtures me. That's what I need. I don't have any more space. I'm full on the fun friends. I need nurturing friends. And we need more of that. And even if someone doesn't feel like they need it, they probably do. But it's just that we've gotten so accustomed to not paying attention to what we actually need. What we actually need. And I got real with myself. I got super deep and intimate with myself to really start to pay attention to what it is that I need. And I said, I need nurturing connections in my life. And when I set that intention, I realized how many of my friendships and connections fell away. And what I used to do in the past is I would dismiss or suppress my need to hold on to people and be like, oh, I was just tripping. Oh, I was just tripping. I was just tripping. Absolutely not. This is a year to be self-loyal. Even if you're listening to this next year or the following year or 5 years from now, this is the time. Now is the time, whenever you hear this, to be self-loyal. Your feelings, your needs, and your desires are valid. Do not let anyone invalidate your feelings, desires, and your needs. Okay, I felt like that should have been a mic drop right there. Okay, let me move on. Number 4, and actually, let me back up. So, compassion. Where have I not been a good friend? Where have I not shown up or supported a friend? So I ask myself these questions. Like anytime I feel a certain type of way and I'm like, okay, let me see how this is showing up in my life. How am I doing this? And, it's something that I've had to like really sit with. Like, do I support friends? And I think that my support may look different than other people's support. So I don't think that I am a friend that people feel comfortable with coming to with like their deepest, darkest secrets, because I think that I'm someone who people view as like she has it together and she's always preaching about self-mastery. So if I come and I say, oh, I did this, they're going to feel judged by me. Like Niajae is going to judge me because I did something that I knew I shouldn't do. And so I'm probably not the person that people want to come to when they've done something that they knew they shouldn't have done. However, I am the friend that supports you. I am the friend that cheers you on when you are going for something to be the best version of yourself. And here's the thing. I do shit all the time that I know I shouldn't do. Let me not say all the time, but I make mistakes. I fall on my face. Like, I have a freaking list of things that I've done that like I look back and I'm like, I probably shouldn't have done that. So it's not that I judge, like I'm like, oh, you're such a crappy person. But I am someone that's like, hey, you deserve better. You are worthy of someone that values you, or you are worthy of a job or career that really lights you up. Like, you are worthy of more. And where I'm trying to get better is not giving unsolicited advice and just listening. So anytime I judge a situation or I feel like this bothers me, I always reflect, how is this showing up in me? How can I be a better friend? And it is something that I have sat back and really processed the last year. So if I'm expecting something of others, like I said, we have to be the change that we want to see. If I'm expecting something of others, I always reflect back, how can I be a better friend? And this unsolicited advice is definitely one of them, and really holding space. Like, yeah, I may think that someone deserves better, and I also have to honor where they're at. And so sometimes keeping that to myself is what's needed in that moment, just to give them time to process. So that is an area where I've realized, like, okay, I can do this. To be a better friend, I can do this. So that's that self-awareness piece, and not constantly pointing the finger at everyone else, like really being the change that we want to see in the world. And since connection is my top value, I do look at how can I be better and be more nurturing and supportive to the people in my life. Okay, now moving on. Number 4 is no one willing to take accountability for their own actions. And this really just speaks to everything that I just said. If I came on here and I had a rant without taking accountability for my own actions, that would be hypocritical, right? That would be hypocritical, and that would be me just complaining and just talking shit for no reason. But I'm literally here, like, I dissect every one of these and I check in and check myself when I need it, because sometimes I gotta check myself. It happens. And I really feel like we need people to take accountability for their stuff. Like being like, you know what? I dropped the ball. I made a mistake here. I shouldn't have said that. And take accountability. Like, no one's perfect. And like I said in one of the previous episodes, it's not that we're trying to be perfect, but it's like we have to pay attention to what we make a situation mean. So if you say, damn, I dropped the ball, sorry, like, that doesn't mean you suck as a person. It doesn't mean you suck as a friend, or it doesn't mean you suck as a lover. Like, even with guys, if you haven't stepped up, like, be like, you know what? I haven't stepped up, but I want to step up now. I haven't been the man that you deserve, but I want to be the man that you deserve now. And do something to fix it. Like, I don't understand why that is so hard for people. Damn, I fucked up. Let me fix it. I made a mistake. I didn't value this or you as much as I should have. How can I make it right? How can I fix this? Do you know how that will improve connections if we actually do that or say that? I'm sorry you felt this way. I didn't mean it, but how can I make it up to you? What will make you feel supported? What will make you feel valued? What will make you feel nurtured? What does nurturing look like for you? Explain it to me. Tell me how to support you. Tell me how to love you. Tell me how to care for you. These are the conversations that we have to have if we want genuine, deep connections in our lives. And we have to be willing to take accountability for our own stuff. I have no right to get up here and have a rant if I'm not willing to take accountability for how I'm showing up, you know? And sometimes I don't see it, but that's why I have a therapist. Sometimes I don't see it, but that's why I have a therapist to point it out to me, to be like, you did give unsolicited advice right there, you know? Like, and that's the thing. We have to have those people in our lives that's going to be honest with us, and we have to be willing to face our shit. And it's not anything to make us feel shame, because I think that's why people don't take accountability, because they feel shame and guilt. So guilt is, I did something bad. Shame is, I am bad. So when people feel like they dropped the ball and they admit it, usually that creates guilt or shame, but it doesn't have to. We're not perfect. We're all learning, healing, and growing. Admitting it actually requires courage, and that personal power that I was talking about. We need a collective solar plexus healing. We need a collective solar plexus healing. It requires courage and personal power to stand up and say, you know what? I dropped the ball. I want to make it right. How can I make it right? How can I make it right? It takes courage. We need more courage, and courage sits in our solar plexus. We need more personal power and resilience, and that sits in our solar plexus. Okay. Number 5 is not being present and no self-awareness. So people are not present. People are so checked out, and they're numbing. They're numbing to where they're so checked out, they don't even notice. And I think that, one, it's because everyone's in their phones. Like, you have no idea. Like, and I'm bad at this too. And I'm trying to get better. I'm working on it for myself. But they're always in their phones. They're always checking their notifications, always on social media, always scrolling. So they're looking down. They're not looking up. Even driving, I've driven past people that are just legit not looking at the road because they're looking at their phones. We are checked out as a society, and then we have drugs and alcohol and video games and social media scrolling. Social media scrolling is addictive. You can sit there on your phone and scroll and scroll and scroll for hours, not paying attention to what's actually going on in the world. We are checked out. And I catch myself, this is something I struggle with too. I catch myself constantly checking notifications. Like, I check my email, I don't even know how many times throughout the day. And when I time block and I set aside, like, okay, I'm going to check my email this time and this time throughout the day, just 2 times a day, 1 time in the morning, 1 time in like later afternoon. And that's it. Other than that, I need to fully focus on what I'm doing. I get so much more done, but it's hard to implement things like that on a regular basis. But we have to, because we're not present for what's actually going on in the world. And that's why so many people can't meditate and they have a hard time quieting their mind, because we're inundated with information and there's no self-awareness. There's no self-awareness. People, like, a guy yesterday, like, hit my car with grocery bags. Like, I was sitting in my car, like, in a grocery store parking lot, and like, he just was like so somewhere else, like, didn't even notice, didn't even look over. Like, we're so checked out as a society. Like, we have to ground and be in the present moment. We have to put our phones down. We have to look up, and it really blows my mind. This is something I have to work on too, but it's an active choice. You have to make the decision. Like, I am not going to be on my phone. We need technology-free days. Even if you can't go a whole day, I'm going to start with an hour. I'm turning my phone off, completely turning it off, and I'm going to be without my phone, not looking at my phone for a full hour. Try it. I said I was going to do a full day. I haven't done it yet. See, this is me. Having self-awareness is something I struggle with too, but sometimes we have to start small. Start with an hour. An hour a day, no cell phone. And here's the thing. I have a meditation studio. You would not believe how hard it is for people to turn their phones off for an hour sound bath or an hour meditation. I have to say it on a regular basis. Put your phone on silent, like, take off your Apple Watch, because I've had people in a meditation looking at their Apple Watch. Like, unplug for a freaking hour, please, and thank you. Your nervous system will thank you later. Like, we are so disconnected. We have to come into the present moment. There's so many health benefits, mentally, physically, emotionally. Your nervous system needs time to repair and rejuvenate, because people are wondering why we have so many digestive problems, so many autoimmune diseases, so many cancers, so many unexplainable thyroid issues. It's because we're not going into our parasympathetic nervous system, which is our rest and digestion state. We have to give our brains and bodies time to repair. And that is being present, going out into nature, grounding, turning off your phone. Turn off your phone for an hour a day. Your body will thank you. Body, mind, and soul. Like, we need it. I need it. This is something for me as well that I have to start implementing. I want to do a full day, but my schedule is so crazy with my business. I know that's an excuse, but I'm going to start with like maybe 4-hour chunks. Like, I'm going to do like a 4-hour chunk, no cell phone, no laptop, no computer, and just like be, you know? Okay. The next one is masking the pain and discomfort. So this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't agree with smoking weed. I don't agree with drinking your problems away. And don't get me wrong, I love a nice glass of wine with a good dinner, but like drinking, like going home, like, oh, I need a glass of wine, or CBD oil that's masking the pain. We have to get to the root of what is bothering us. And a lot of people that can't sleep, they're turning to CBD oil or smoking weed or whatever the case may be. It's masking the problem. We're programmed as a society to mask the pain and discomfort rather than getting to the root cause of it. And we have to get to the root cause. And I believe every physical ailment, every disorder, every discomfort has an energetic root cause. And the thing is, it's easier to just mask it than to actually face it. But just because you mask it, it doesn't make it go away. So actually facing the root cause is going to allow you to heal, to grow, and transform. So I know it's an unpopular belief because I know a lot of people feel like, you know, CBD is natural, it's from the earth and all the things, but like, hey, this is how I feel. Have your CBD, have your wine, smoke your weed, but don't do it to mask something. Like if you're doing it recreational here or there, you go to a festival and you want to smoke a little weed or do some CBD, you know, once in a blue, but if you need it every single night, it's a problem. If you need it to sleep at night, it is a problem, and there is a root cause that you have to get to. If you feel like you need any type of substance, whether it's natural, from the earth, whatever, there's something causing it. There's an energetic root cause that we have to get to. So, unpopular belief, if I lose a follower or listener here, sorry, but I have to be true to what I feel and what my purpose is. And part of what I feel my purpose is with this sound healing is to help people identify the energetic root causes of a lot of the physical things, ailments and discomforts that they're experiencing. And so, yeah, like I said in the beginning, I've been afraid to ruffle feathers, but like, this is me speaking my truth and what I truly feel. And I believe that there are holistic ways to deal with your root causes. If you do something recreational just for fun, it's one thing. But if you feel like you need it, I need a glass of wine, I need a coffee, I need my CBD to sleep at night, there's a problem. There's an energetic root cause that's causing you to feel like you need that thing. So, sorry, not sorry. Okay, next one is customer service. I feel like customer service is at an all-time low these days. Not everywhere, but I've had a couple of experiences where I've called customer service and it has just sucked so bad. And I don't know if people just got really relaxed because they're working from home ever since the pandemic. I don't know, but customer service sucks these days. Not all customer service. I will say I just signed up for this beautiful beach retreat location for my sound healing certifications. And the guy actually mailed me a card. So I reserved, like the space for a sound healing retreat certification training. And he actually mailed me a card and said, "We're so grateful for your business. Thank you for doing business with us," and mailed it to the studio. And I was like, how amazing is this? Like, we need more good customer service. People need to feel seen, heard, and appreciated. And that is a good example of like good customer service. So here's what I want to say. If you have a business or if you provide customer service, how can you provide exceptional customer service? I think that customer service is so important. I have to wrap this up because I have a session starting. So number 8 is people settling and not believing in themselves. And I think that this is something that's really hard for me because, like I said earlier, I was told that I was super judgmental, and I had to sit with this. I know that I'm judgmental. My name is Niajae, and I'm judgmental. Like, I'm aware. You know what I mean? Like, I know that I'm judgmental, but my judgment... So I'm going to do... the next episode is going to be on our personal ingredients. So I think that judgment is one of my ingredients. And when you're making a meal, you have ingredients that by itself... it may not taste good, like let's take salt, for example. So if you just eat salt, like you can't just eat salt. It's going to be gross in your mouth. I mean, unless you're taking a tequila shot. I don't condone tequila shots. I'm just saying. But like salt by itself, you're not going to eat salt by itself. So salt by itself sucks, essentially. Maybe salt isn't a good example. Let's use cumin. cumin. Is that how you say it? I don't even know how you say it. Let's just say cumin. Cumin by itself, have you ever just like tasted cumin by itself? It's gross, right? But you put cumin in a meal and it's freaking amazing, right? So the judgment by itself sucks, but if it wasn't for me judging, and when I say judging, I don't judge from a malicious or bad place. I want to see people thrive. I actually shared this with a friend today. I want to see people thrive. I want to see people fulfilled and happy and healthy, mind, body, and soul. And because I feel so passionately about that, it's allowed me to start businesses that have changed people's lives. So I don't judge people just to judge them. If someone feels judged by me because they did something they shouldn't have done, or they're not going for their goals or their full potential, I mean, really it's probably them judging themselves. But do I see people having more potential than what they're actually executing? And I'm like, I think you deserve more. People take that as a judgment. Okay, I'm judgmental, but it's from a place of wanting to see people thrive. So the judgment by itself sucks, i.e. the cumin, but then when you add it into the equation of how I dedicate my life and my time and my energy to empowering people, to helping people live the best version, live their best life, live abundant lives, live to their full potential and be the best version of themselves, when you mix it in with all of that, it's amazing. Because if I didn't feel so strongly about people thriving, I wouldn't have the businesses that I have. I wouldn't have this podcast helping people. So it bugs me that I try to help people live to their full potential, and then they turn around and tell me that I'm judging them. And like, okay, so you want me, I love you, and you want me to like be okay with you settling. You want me to be okay with you not believing in yourself. I'm not going to. So if you want to consider me judgmental, I'll take that, but I feel like, again, we need a collective solar plexus healing because people have to believe in themselves. They have to have that confidence and courage to go after their goals and desires and stop settling. Do you feel like today's society is lazy? Like, I'm not going to call anyone lazy, but I'm just like, come on, you guys, like, go after. It's easier now than ever to start a business. It's easier now than ever to make money and create a brand and go after what you want. It's easier now than ever. Stop settling. Believe in yourself. And that belief in yourself sits in your solar plexus. It is your self-worth, your confidence, your personal power, your courage. We need some solar plexus healing. Actually, I just thought about it. I'm going to put some solar plexus healing music in the background. So when I edit this and you listen to it, I have been helping you heal your solar plexus as you've been listening to my rant. Okay, rant over. But again, every time I acknowledge something that bothers me, I always think about how it shows up in my own life. So where have I not been living to my full potential? Where have I not been going for the big goals? This is also something I've sat with recently, and what I truly want that I haven't gone for. And I've sat with this, and I know, I'm aware, and I'm going for it. And so if you've been following me lately, you know I've made some big steps, and I am just getting started. Okay, M&Ms, those are the 8 things that have been bothering me. If I ruffled your feathers, I truly apologize. Know that it's coming from a place of love, and know that it is with the intention of you living the abundant life that you desire. And these are just my opinions. So take what resonates and discard the rest. But I do want to hear how you feel. So let me know which one of these resonates with you, which one didn't, which one ruffled your feathers. Tell me, let's talk about it. This is an open space. Even if you don't agree, you don't have to agree with me. Like, you're not going to agree with everything that I say on this podcast, but it'll plant a seed to get you thinking. And if you don't agree, why don't you agree? Lean in, explore, dissect, because that is how we transform and we grow, when we understand ourselves. Ooh, I didn't like that. Why didn't you like it? I did like that. Why did you like it? It's data, and that data is how we achieve self-mastery, getting to know ourselves on a deeper level and embodying what we truly stand for, embodying what we value, and living intentionally and in alignment. That is my message for you. Until next time, be decadent. Thank you for tuning in to the Abundance Hack Show. I would love to hear from you. Leave your comments and questions, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our yummy episodes. Every time you leave a 5-star rating or review, I do my happy dance.